Tommy Rex, and you're listening to today's Brook Park.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now, here's your host.
The Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns May 14th through 17th with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, and Shinedown. Plus, Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, The Offspring, Sublime, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Marilyn Manson, and so many more. Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to 17th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at sonictemplefestival.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and been catching up with my old friend James and getting to know my new friend, Mr. Johnny Sculls from the band Skyknives. What's going on, guys?
How you doing, bud?
Good to see you.
Good. And then, Pickless Cage might be joining us later. I don't know. For a cameo. But
there he is.
There he is. Nice. But yeah, so me and James go way back. So I'm going to ask some of these questions because I already know some of James' background, but I want to ask you, Johnny. Originally, what did you want to be when you were a little kid? What did you originally want to be when you grew up?
Well, I thought it was a police officer, but then I realized it was an actor because I'd just been watching Police Academy movies. So I realized, I don't think all of that goes on there. But then it was more of it got into performing. And, my mom was obsessed with Elvis, and my dad was from England, grew up in the 60s with the Beatles, and Eric Clapton and all those guys. So he had incredible stories, and having those stories with the music in the house and Elvis very much in the house, performing was just definitely something that was going to happen. Nice.
And James, I don't think I ever asked you that question. Other than becoming a Brook Park lifeguard, what did you want to be when you were a kid?
Honestly, man, when I was a kid, I was always torn between doing this and playing basketball. And I don't live my life in the world of regret and what if, but I the only one I actually have is I was invited after high school to try out for a basketball team in Italy, and I just didn't go. I was so immersed into music at that point. I mean, that was, I was already 2 years into playing live, and it's just what I love to do. And I look back, I go, man, I wonder how cool that could have been. But I've had a cool career playing music too, so but that's the only wonder.
I think when I first met you back in the day, I mean, you were just a kid playing at playing shows. So, I mean,
I was 17 when I started playing live. So, I was end of my junior year when I met you. 27 years ago, Bill.
I know, dude. Quit aging me. And then, so when was it for you, James? Because Johnny kind of already answered this question a little bit, but when was it for you that music caught your ear, and who were some of your earliest influences?
My first word was Bama, because my mom listened to Alabama so much, and I wanted her to turn it on. So, I mean, it was there from day one. I mean, I always look forward to getting in the car wherever we were going just to hear music. If it wasn't on in the house, it was on in the car. Now, I love Watson to death, but he doesn't care about music. He's like, do we have to have music on in the car all the time? And it's yeah, because I don't want to hear your iPad, and this is why I'm driving. I'm in the car because I want to listen to music,
Sit in silence like a psycho, right?
Yeah. No, he just wants to hear his iPad. So I'm like, well, because he's playing a game. Well, that's why I bought you headphones. I don't want to hear it, But
Yeah.
You know, my trips
Yeah.
to Florida, man, I look forward to like just running my playlist of what I like to hear. I turn on some podcasts too, but music has been a massive part of my life, my whole life.
Yeah,
It's
and you
been my
make
North Star.
Right.
you make
like,
some
seriously.
insane drives down there from here. So
But dude, I remember
Yeah.
being a kid playing my Sega in the basement, but I kept the volume off of the TV so I could listen to Use Your Illusions.
Mm,
nice.
yeah.
So,
Nice.
you know, that was me as a kid. I didn't need to hear the TV. I heard Slash, you know, like
Yeah, man.
And then Johnny, when did you get the bug to actually start performing yourself?
Well, performing music, the first time I ever, I guess, put together an original band was, I think I was in seventh grade, so whatever that is, that's I was 13, I guess. And we started performing. Our friend had a 4-track recorder, so we would hand out demo tapes, and it was I was lucky. I grew up in the Bay Area, in San Francisco Bay Area, so a lot of the kids that I grew up with some of them had famous parents, like a lot of the Grateful Dead kids were there, but in my class, but like there was also just really accomplished musicians and artists that were just incredible that had children that I was growing up with as well. So we were all very much like immersed in music and encouraged to perform. And there was no stage fright ever. There was a stage in every coffee house, every, grocery store at one point. But like I was very lucky. I mean, Metallica was like around. My favorite band was Faith No More, and they were hometown heroes. Like it was a lot of really cool stuff to grow up in. So performing just felt natural and felt like that's what you're supposed to do. If you're creative, you should be doing this. If you're executive, you should be doing that. But like I never once was I ever discouraged or told about a backup plan or anything like that. Like this has just always been, and I've always figured it out, maybe not without, some bumps in the road, but I've definitely been able to like make this my life. And it's a beautiful life, like creating frequencies so people smile. You know what I mean? Like that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, I already know like what me and James's scene was like here, growing up, but what was the scene like for you out there?
Oh, I mean, like in the 80s and 90s in San Francisco Bay Area was like, I mean, take your pick. You had everything. You had death metal. You had punk rock. You had hair metal. You had pioneers. You had Journey. Like one of my bands got to open up for Journey. Like we're doing all these different things that we would be around these just incredibly accomplished musicians, and then their kids, like whoever else, like Mickey Hart's kid or whoever. What was it? Neil Sean's kid. Like all these and just accomplished musicians, and then influencing other kids, like to the point where we would have battle of the bands, to the point where it was actually not a good idea. We started doing a thing called Unity of the Bands. And so we just had like all these different, basically like mini festivals, like looking back at it now. And it was just the beginning of not even entrepreneurship, just like looking at music as like, we can bring this to the masses. We can make this work and make everybody happy and stuff like that. So it was a lot of encouragement, just energetically, not just from my own specific parents, but just also from just the city. So it's pretty cool. Nice.
And then when did you start Pvsher? When did you get into that?
I did that because every band I had been in, I had just written lyrics and top lines. So just singing just my parts, and I was responsible for my part. So I always felt like a band was always what was natural for me. So I never thought about writing entire songs and bringing them to bands. It was always just, let's get in the room and hum out some parts and figure it out. And that was just the natural way I always liked to do it. And then I had just had this great band with incredible players, and it just blew up in my face. It couldn't work. They couldn't tour. They couldn't work together. It was competitive. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to figure this out by myself. So I just picked up an acoustic guitar and started writing. And I figured if anything sounds good in an acoustic guitar, then it'll sound good with tons of bells and whistles. So I just started writing. And I ended up meeting a lot of great people. Some of the people that helped me were like Kelly Scott, the drummer for Failure. He played on my shit. Like he was just such a good guy and such an amazing, supportive dude. But then like I was working in Josh Abraham's studio with some of his people, and like just doing all these like really cool things. People are really helping me and getting me along. So I was figuring like, you know what, I guess I should do this. I should keep trying. I should keep pushing myself. And so like, oh, push, maybe I should call it push. What should I push something? And then like, I was listening to, I think Marvin Gaye came on. I think it was Curtis Mayfield. When I said Pusher Man, that song came on. I think I was watching The Hangover or something like that. I'm like, oh shit, that's Pusher. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's like just a cool sounding word. So I'm pushing myself, and I kept doing that. So that was pretty much 2013 till I met James. Just been writing and writing and writing and getting better at it, and figuring out like where I fail and learning from it and having fun. So I don't know if it'll ever end, but maybe it's just what I do when I'm solo. I don't know yet, but pretty much
what he's
since
gonna
2013.
do next year when he's bored with us, he's gonna go back to it.
I don't think we're gonna be bored, brother.
I don't think so either. We got Island.
Yeah.
And then like James, I mean, you've been in so many projects I've known, Impending Lies. In high school it was Puppet, right? And then Impending Lies, and then Killer's Confession, most recent. And when was it that you guys kind of got together for Sky Knives?
We're coming up on that year mark. Actually, we'll be at that year mark, I believe, while we're in Vegas shooting the second video. That was
I think you're right.
I think it was March. I'm really weird with numbers and dates, and I believe it was March 16th. And the only reason why I remember that is because Jeff Tate was here, and I was working the show.
Plus, it's my birthday, so thank you.
There you go.
I think it was the 16th. It might have been the 4th. I can't remember. But if it was your birthday, happy birthday. But it was one of those things where it was funny. Johnny sent me a message going, hey, I'm looking to sing. Anybody looking for a singer? And I'm like, what do you think of this? And I sent him a draft of Talking to Myself, which was titled something different at the time. And he was like, I love it. And I go, all right, we'll put something to it. like, let's go. Do you want to do this? Yeah. Okay, cool. And that was it. Everybody asks how this band happens, and I tell everybody the same thing. That of 27 years of putting bands together and naming bands and trying to write with guys, the band that has nobody living in the same city has been the easiest band I've done over the last going on 3 decades. Like, it's been nothing but like, go with your gut. My gut's telling me this. Okay, do it. And it hasn't, is it fair to say, Johnny, the gut hasn't failed us yet in a year?
Not yet.
Not yet. Like, if we feel a certain way, we just do it. And it's worked every time. And, the group chat is very productive, yet hilarious. Everybody gets along.
Also because of what we agreed upon early on, which was respect and treating each other exactly respect.
We've all been screwed over by so many bands that we just said, look, we're going to do this. We're going to have fun. Everybody gets an equal cut, and we're just going to ride the wave.
Now, like, you, through all your time, like, touring and getting out there, obviously networking, you build these relationships, you get to know these guys. What was it like, you explained sending the song to Johnny or connecting with Johnny, but how did you end up connecting with the rest of the group?
Island's from Cleveland. If you remember Burning Vegas.
Yeah.
He was the bass player for Burning Vegas. Since then, dude, I don't even know everything he's done. He was in Eve to Adam. He is the current touring bass player for Union Underground. He also plays for the Genitortures. So, I've known him for a long time, and me and Johnny kind of had the conversation of, well, we've never played together, so why don't we put a band of guys that none of us have played together? I hate to say it, but going back to sometimes, most of the time, going back to an old member is like going back to your ex. You know what you're getting. Nothing changes, and not say all ex members are bad. Not saying that at all, but we just wanted something new. And Mark, our drummer, I did a week with him on the El Nino tour, and I love the guy. He was fun. He was talented. He's a fucking riot, is what he is. you know, and then we added Joey in after we did the video for Talking to Myself, which I did play with him briefly living in Jacksonville because he was in Allele and I got asked to play. But I mean, I think we did 5 rehearsals together, and then it's a long story, but you know, I got asked to do AKC and I left. I no problems with Joey. I didn't feel like me and him played long enough to put him in the category of, I know, you know, I've played with you before, and so far it's been almost a year, and it's been honestly some of the most fun I've had making music.
Nice. And I like what you said too, Johnny, about the respect thing. You know, I mean, you're establishing like the foundation. Everybody's got to have their you know, their say, and have some. We all need like guide rails, or else shit falls off the tracks, right? Know what we're getting into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's more than just giving someone a voice. I think the problem is that everybody wants to have a voice and fights to get their voice, and is probably in this industry used to fighting to get their voice through. So before a fight happened, we made an agreement with everybody, and we said, if you're in this band, it doesn't matter how many songs you write. It doesn't matter if you don't write any songs. You will be paid the same as the person who writes all the songs, or some of the songs, or most of the songs. It's an even playing field in this band. And the reason for that is because everybody in this band is a songwriter in some way, shape, or form. So if the song is great, we should use it, but it shouldn't be because I have to get a song out there because I have to, you know, feed my family or da 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 da. No, like there's no reason that I should be getting paid more than him or him. If we're in this band, we're in this band. Unless if you don't feel like that person's worth it, then maybe they shouldn't be in the band. So they bring something to the table, regardless of whether or not that's songwriting or how they're a songwriter. Because maybe they're a fabulous drummer, but they're not technically a songwriter. But without those drums, it would not sound the same. I mean, like that deserves respect. So we just made this agreement that no matter what, who's in this band, you will be paid the exact same amount as anybody else in this band. And that's just final. And that really made everybody's ego kind of go, okay, I can take a break. All right, let's see. Okay, right now, what do I really want? And then that's when the truth came out of what we want and how we want to be perceived, and where our limitations are, and where we'd like to keep going. So it opened up communications without even asking for those. So I think starting with a respectful foot and doing something that not many people do is the right move was the right move for us.
I think it opens up you know, it relaxes you guys enough to actually open up the creativity as well, I would say, you know?
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
And then I'm always curious about band names, like who came up with the name, and like what's the inspiration?
So I wrote Johnny at 3 a.m. and said, I'm out of band names. You got any? And he goes, here's a list. Some of them are jokes, some of them aren't. And I had it down to 3 of them, and we never even talked about the other 2, so I don't remember what they were. But first one I said was, what is Sky Knives? And Johnny, you go ahead and explain what Sky Knives is.
I just thought it was, I grew up on horror movies and like Sam Raimi and that kind of stuff. And I thought, like, what would be the most like terrifying and kind of funny thing to die from? Like, what if like a cargo plane for some reason was transferring all of these kitchen knives as it's flying over a major city, and it just opens up accidentally and all these kitchen knives fly out and are flying down into the city? It's like, oh, don't go outside, kids, the Sky Knives will get you. So I just kind of thought that was really cool. And then now we're writing this mythology with our lyrics and the whole theme of the band, that it's actually kind of weaving into the mythology pretty cool. And so it's sort of, it just lends itself really nicely to where we're going with stuff. So it's pretty fun.
Nice. I love it.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it, man. And then let's talk about the song Talking to Myself. You said that, James, you had originally wrote it for something else. You sent it to Johnny. It became Talking to Myself. But let's talk about you know, the message in there.
That song I started, I'll never forget. I was September of 2016. We were in the middle of recording the Believe EP for Impending Lies with Rob Arnold from Chimera. And I just wrote Rob after work, and I was like, "Hey, are you at the studio?" And he goes, "Yeah, why?" I go, "I got an idea. I just want to come track it. You got time?" He goes, "Yeah, come on over." And that's where it started. And we got about 2 minutes worth of music, and then it just kept morphing and changing tunings. And I mean, it took I've never worked so hard on a song because I knew there was something there, and I wouldn't touch it for a year or two, and then I'd be like, "Oh, I have an idea for that again," and I would go back in, and and it finally ended up where it ended up when I sent it to Johnny, and then it still took another morph after Johnny got a hold of it, but I kind of explained to Johnny what I actually put vocals on it at one point myself, on a different version, and I just told him this is what I was writing about, but do your thing. And he did his thing, man. Like, it sounded like when he sent it to me, I was like, okay, let's go. Like, we're good, like, let's get this band together.
And then Johnny, tell me what you did your thing. Tell me about the message.
Well, the message, I heard James saying basically, this is about basically my wife and how she saved me and stuff like that. And so I was thinking about loss and savior and things like that. And I've been writing this story about a witch and just sort of like playing around with lyrics. And I'm like, is this a poem? Is this a movie? I don't know what this is. So I just was writing stuff out. So I sort of lent all of that, now this mythology I was coming up with, into these lyrics. So basically it's about a guy who his life is over. He can't figure out what's going wrong. Everything's falling apart. So he searches for answers in the tarot and old books, and finds something about a witch and gives everything he has to this witch on one condition, like a Faustian kind of tale. And we don't know what that is yet. And so now he's kind of enjoying the fruits of his labor, in a sense, like everything's sort of like happening, and he's going, whoa, how's this happening? What's going on? Like I manifested this, or what's happening? He doesn't really remember if it's the witch. So when it came to the lyrics, it was the whole reason that the witch blessed this guy was because he started to get in touch with his dark side and who he is at full spectrum. There's a thing called the shadow process that I did like years and years ago. And basically it's like
Carl Jung,
finding
right?
like finding like the dark side of yourself and opening it up and looking at it and using it for what it's used for, whatever it needs to be used for. And so I was kind of like playing with that and going into like, well, he's letting go of his demons, or he's looking into his demons. So he's talking to his demons. He's talking to himself. There you go. So now he's shaking hands with himself. And that's sort of the story that's getting in there. So, and the bigger picture is basically like, you can't be a full person until you accept yourself as a full person, look at every aspect and tear yourself down to the roots. Kind of like when you need to get sober, like that kind of thing. Like that level of just like, I need to pull everything apart and look at why I do the things I do, and then build yourself back up from a strong base. So that's sort of where it's coming from.
Wow, man, you're talking my language there. James knows, I'm actually approaching 17 years sober on this
Congratulations.
week, so that's like everything you're talking about. It's kind of been like my experience, man, just for the longest time I held on to that like shame and guilt, for that dark side. But now I'm like learning to like, hey, that's a part of who I was. Doesn't have to be who I am today, or I can use it for the good to make me who I'm trying to be today. So yeah, I love it. I love that, man.
That's great. I'm so glad to hear you say that. That's cool.
And then, so obviously in the taking that, that was kind of the story when you guys did the music video as well then, right?
Yeah. I had a friend I wanted to work with for a while, Vicente. He's a brilliant director. And I don't speak the language of director. I just know what I want to see. And he is a genius director. So I just can like tell him like, I want to see purple. And he'll be like, oh, I got it. So he'll make that happen. And, he's just a great guy, really good guy to work with. And then we had this incredible team, and the makeup department, this one girl, Bunny, she's just amazing. I want to work with her again. And then she found this beautiful model, Kelly, who that girl followed direction like an A-list celebrity. She was just, she was on it.
she could have been the whole day, and I'd been like, "Wait, you don't need us. Just let her keep going." Like,
Yeah, she was great. She had like, she knew exactly how to move her body and with the right lighting. I mean, she was incredible. She was fantastic.
And then, you know, obviously James was leaning back on his days as a Brook Park lifeguard because, you know, getting in that pool looked pretty natural. But
it helped.
talk
I'm not
about
gonna
filming
lie, it
that.
helped. I was able to stay under for a while. Like, you know what's funny? I don't remember who I was telling the story to. I might have said this actually in the last interview me and Johnny did. I haven't told anybody this until then, but I always had this weird thing. You'll see in the video, I'm horizontal spinning. And it was this weird thing when I was at the pool and we were bored and we'd jump in and play basketball in the pool or whatever. And I could go underwater, and I realized if I put my arm behind my back, I could do this weird motion to make me spin. And it took, that was what, 18 then? So it took 20 something years for that to finally, that stupid thing that I could do to finally come to use in this video.
But when you did it as a kid, you were in a swimsuit. It had to be tougher, like holding a guitar and in a jumpsuit, right?
Well, you know, that part I didn't have the guitar. I will say the guitar. So you're thinking 7-pound guitar. This ain't gonna be that bad. No, the minute you jump in, you immediately go right back up. I mean, it's like no time to shoot, no time to do anything. So they had these sandbag weights that like. It was like the sandbag, and then it had a cloth handle, and we put them. I don't know if Johnny, did you have to use one of those?
I couldn't because I had to like spin around and stuff.
That's right. We moved you to the other side of the pool. So
Yeah.
for me and Island with the guitars, we had those things locked on our ankle. So our ankle and our foot was up like this, so it would hang right here. And then whenever we would run out of breath, you just put your foot down and it'd fall off and then you'd float back up. So
yeah,
I mean,
and then dude, and Zoe would like jump down in that pool. Remember, like that pool was deep, and she just like dove down, grabbed these weights, and came back up. I'm like, we have the best crew ever.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
They were like, no, we got it. I'm like, no, I'll get it. No. I'm like, stay out of the pool.
Yeah.
I'll get it. You know,
I want to work with them again, dude. That was so cool. I don't know what we'll do.
So the owner of the pool, he was telling me that is the largest and deepest residential pool in North Hollywood.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it makes sense because it was like 13 feet deep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the video, Johnny kind of loses his head. What was the talk about that a little bit?
Well, we had this prop of a head, and she was, doing her drooly thing and a lot of mouth stuff, and she was holding it, and I'm like, Vicente, can I get my head in there? He's like, yes. Nobody move. Wait, nobody move. And then I went in there and we shot it, and he's like, we'll figure it out. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Like maybe she ripped my head off, and that's like she's ripping off the old me, and now there's the new me that's being birthed. He's like, well, we'll make that work too. Okay, so but we're like, let's just get your head. So and everybody was awesome. It was that was a really fun video.
Nice. And then you guys are talking. There's get ready to work on another video. Can you talk a little bit about the song?
Yeah, James, you want to take it?
No,
you want me to do it?
Right ahead. You wrote the lyrics,
okay.
Man.
Okay.
I will say, Johnny killed the song. We found out Johnny could do things we didn't know he could do.
Yeah, that was a really fun session. That was a quick session, but it was fun. But so yes, it's called Spin the Blade. And I was doing research on keys, and I realized that the front of the key is a blade. So I was like, oh, that kind of works. So I was like thinking about this mythology again and going back to the witch and thinking about how you have the key to, metaphorically speaking, who you are always inside yourself. It's not something you find at the top of a mountain in Tibet or at the bottom of a gutter. It's just something you find when you're ready to find it. And this is kind of about that, being able to like spin the blade, like spin the key and open up that lock of who you are. And like that we're about to see what we become as a band because we're, just starting out. And it also, I kind of think like everybody has those moments where they feel like they've turned that key, they've spun the blade, and they've gone through and said like, I don't care what's on the other side. I'm leaving this and I'm going over here. And it just felt like kind of a movement song of like physically moving through and metaphorically moving through a doorway.
I like it, man. Now, I have artists on here all the time, and we talk about like the old days of like, getting a vinyl record, sitting down, putting on the headphones and looking at the artwork and enjoying the story from beginning to end, especially with like concept albums. Is this kind of like what you guys are working on here? Is this going to be like because you mentioned The Witch again, is this going to be like a...
Yeah, I'm leaning into stuff that I was really inspired by Sleep Token and President and bands that have a theme. And I just decided like, I've been writing this story about this witch for a long time. And I'm like, this is perfect if I just remove myself from the equation of the songwriting. Like, I'm not singing about myself. I'll be singing in first person, but like, it's going to be a character that's going through this stuff. And I'm like, if it's a character, then I can write him through all these different scenarios and stories that I've been through without it being completely personal, but at the same time being retrospective, and have this fun theme of this witch that I absolutely just love this storyline. So I'm like, yeah, like why don't I just do that? So this band is going to be about a band who is blessed by a witch and the struggles to understand that, and then finding out later on what the Faustian deal is.
Nice. Yeah, like I mean, I know, like we were talking about with the kids and the iPads and stuff like that, man. Everything today in society, it's just like streaming, and it's people just focus on putting out a single to get the most streams, and I get that, but at the same time, I miss the days of like the storytelling from beginning to end.
Well,
and
you know what I don't miss though? I don't miss buying an album and hating every song but the one song that they released that I liked.
Right.
I don't miss that. That's it. But I miss everything else. I agree with you. I miss the artwork. I mean, come on. How awesome was it to buy Astro Creep 2000 and open up the artwork and go, oh, I got a poster.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Yeah,
Pearl
I
Jam
agree.
10. Pearl Jam 10 was a poster.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like I really like that too. I like the tangible thing. Well, I don't think we've lost it. I think there's still people doing it. Trent does it still, and there's a lot of other artists that still do it. And I think like Sleep Token does it too. So I think it can be done.
I buy vinyls now. I do buy.
Right.
certain like when I saw Our Lady Peace came out with a Clumsy vinyl, I was like, yep, because that was one of my favorite albums of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually got one of the Architects when they did the one with the Abbey Road live with the orchestra. They only did a certain number of copies, and I forgot I ordered it. 8 months later, it showed up. I'm like, oh, Christmas came early. I forgot all about this.
Dude, I have like a Blacklight Burns box set. Remember Blacklight Burns?
Yeah.
With Westbourne, like he did this like 3 CD thing. It's like in a booklet. It's like the most exquisitely gorgeous thing I've ever seen. And it's like just a small band did it. It's like I think when you put that much effort into it, the fans respect it. I mean, look Ronnie Radke. Look at how much that guy does in merch. My
wife bought 2 of those Ronald Happy Meals.
There you go.
Yeah, one you could break into and one you don't touch, right?
Oh no, they both got open because there was different shirts or something. I can't remember, but yeah, she bought 2 of those things, but she kept the box, the Happy Meal box. It was pretty cool.
That's fine. That's cool.
Nice. So yeah, for the music video, who you guys going to be working with, or do you have that all scheduled or?
Well, I mean, we weren't even really like, so we were just going to do a performance video, and then I just sat there with it and I went like, we can't just do a performance video. It's got to be something. Like, I can't just let that happen. So I was like, all right, well, we got these great camera operators, and they're like, well, we're just going to follow your lead. I'm like, oh shit, I guess I'm directing. So I guess I'm doing it, but I'm going to be making a lot of phone calls to Vicente going like, hey, what does this mean? What do I do? So, because I have no idea what I'm doing with this one, but I guess it's going to be me.
Vicente,
Nice.
are you available?
Yeah, I know, right? The good news is we're going to use the same editor. We're going to use the same editor as before, so it'll have that same feel.
Cool. And then work like how many? What's the plan for like the full album? You guys got a lot of stuff already recorded, or where are you at in that process?
It pretty much feels like what we're going to do is an EP. We're probably going to release a 5-song EP because that can happen sooner than a full length. And with a full length, it's only natural, but fans or people in the industry just go, this is great. What else you got? When's the new stuff coming out? You're like, Jesus Christ, I just fucking gave you something. But like, it's better to just do it right now as an independent artist, just do 5-song EPs or 4-song EPs and just give people as much as we can, as fast as we can, but at the good quality.
Nice. Well, obviously, though, you know, I mean, you guys got this show coming up here in Cleveland at Globe Iron with Rikets coming back together. You're going to be doing more than the 2 songs we just discussed, obviously, for the fans.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of material that it's basically deciding what comes first is really where we're at.
Nice. And then after this show, I mean, is there like tours you guys are looking at doing?
No, right now, just really focusing on like getting these songs recorded as quickly, but also as top quality as possible. So that's really the main focus right now, is to get these songs done, you know, film some other video stuff maybe, and leak out things here, just get people excited, and hopefully they enjoy Spin the Blade.
So yeah, so then if fans want to hear it first, you know, what you guys got in the can, they should be there April 18th, right, at Globe 100%. Iron. You're live.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully the song will be out before that, but you know, you never know. I always put deadlines on myself.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'll have the 2 singles, but I mean, for the rest of the stuff that you guys
live, absolutely.
Yeah. We'll get the sneak peek of that as well, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And some more surprises.
Nice. And then after you guys get through that show, like what kind of other goals you guys got set as a band? You talked about coming in with the respect thing, but what goals you guys got on the radar?
I don't think writing is ever going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Just judging by the way everybody is, there's always something being done. Like if we did end up going on the road, I think we would have to definitely build some kind of a mobile recording rig.
Yeah.
Because Island's full of ideas. I always have ideas. Everyone has ideas, like literally everybody. And what's awesome about it is like Mark can be on tour with the Crown. I'll be like, hey, I sent you a demo. Can you put some drums on it? And he'll sit at a Starbucks that morning before a show and edit and put drums on it and send it back to me on his computer. So, you know, if we just have even just like a 2-channel interface to just throw guitar into and vocal into for demo stuff, like, you know, we can sit in a green room at a show and just knock stuff out. And I really, it's funny because a lot of bands would find that to be a little tedious, where I think like that's where we're all happy. Like we all love the creative process. So
I mean, that's what Jonathan Davis did that during the Korn tour. He was recording the stuff for the Queen of the Damned stuff. So
yeah, it's just I think that and you know, I hate to say it too, but we're all getting a little older. We're not giant partiers. Like this is how we would probably pass our time, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
you know, it's not. Touring doesn't have the allure of Decline of the Western Civilization Part 2 anymore. You know?
Yeah, the 80s are over, man.
Yeah. Those days have been over for a long time for me, and you know what? I don't miss them. You know, like James, you know, called me by my old alter ego, Dollar Bill, and yeah, Dollar Bill was the shadow running wild. I'm glad that I made peace with him and like where I'm at today.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know that feeling, man.
Now, before we get ready and wrap up the interview, I want to ask you guys some of the questions I normally ask guests that I have on here. You guys both talked about, some of the early influences in music and some of the bands that you're into, but who are your top 3 that you're listening to today?
Oh, that's easy for me. I can answer that right now. Volumes, Thornhill, and then 3 kind of gets a little wishy-washy. I do listen to a lot of Halsey. I do listen to a lot of Wage War, a lot of Bad Omens, a lot of Dayseeker, like the newer Dayseeker, like the last 2 newer ones. I don't listen to the older one that much. I probably should give it another shot, but those kind of all mesh into my realm. But the new Volumes album, I good God, I don't know how many times I've listened to it at this point, to the point where them and Thornhill, I actually just made a Volume Hill playlist in my Apple Music, and I just put everything by both bands into it, and I just hit shuffle, and I'm happy for days.
For the drive from Cleveland to Florida, right? And what about you, Johnny?
I'd say currently it's Sleep Token, and I'm really interested to see what President does now. They just released a new song, and it's very different from the last stuff they did. So it's really cool what they're doing. And Deftones, just that new record is so good. I was lucky enough to be signed to the same management as them a long time ago, and Abe is like a god behind the drums. Just, I got to see things like from an angle that like not many get to see, and I just felt so blessed to just see this, like, oh my god, it's the most amazing drummer I've ever seen. He's just so good. And then to hear this new record of what they're doing now, I mean, they're just a genre all on their own. I really respect them so much. But generally speaking, it's always like Nine Inch Nails for creativity, Danny Elfman for creativity, and Faith No More for creativity. Like, that's really kind of, those 3 are usually in there somewhere.
Johnny falls asleep listening to Oingo Boingo.
Yep, that's right. It's a dead man's party.
Yes.
And then what I love asking this one, but looking back and where you're at today and what you've learned along the way, what class do you wish or do you think should be mandatory before graduating high school today?
Oh, I have 2. How to talk to the opposite gender with respect, and how to read a contract. That's it.
Nice. What about you, Jay?
I like the contract one. I'll piggyback that because I never thought about that, but that is smart. And honestly, like, I know they do economic classes, or they used to, but if they taught kids how credit scores actually worked, and it wasn't something you just figured out as you went, right. Like my parents are the best people on the planet, in my opinion, and I'll fight anybody about that. But I never got told why pay it off. I never got told why. Like, there's never a why. Just do it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to listen to you. And it took a long time to learn. And,
yeah, it's a game. It's like a literal game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that to me that's like the biggest. I try to run on cash at this point. I don't even want, I just try to do it with cash at this point.
Oh, I made that mistake the other day, and I was like, oh, I'll do my credit card thing later, and I just left it, and I had to rent a car. I'm like, fuck. When you don't have a credit card, they're like, would you like to just leave a massive deposit? I'm like, oh yes, I would. Thank you. You read my mind. It's just,
yeah. Number one answer I usually get is, finances or taxes.
Yeah.
would teach that.
Like it's all an algorithm. It's all an algorithm, and it is a game. It's a hopscotch biatch kind of situation here. You got to just learn how to just dance around. And once you learn the dance moves, it's easy. Like I've got a buddy of mine who's a drummer, and he's got something like close to an 800 credit score, and it's not because he's great at anything. His mom taught him the numbers of like, hi, this is you do it this, you do it this, you do it this, you pay it off this, you pay it off that, and it was like a game for him. And him and his mom connected on that, and has like the greatest credit score in the world. So it's just a game. You just got to learn to play.
Yeah. I learned the debt snowball effect, and that's helped me. I mean, and so being sober, I'm a little bit wiser with my purchases today than I was back then. Thinking I was Ric Flair buying everybody rounds and shit, you know.
Woo!
Everybody loved Bill back in the early 2000s and late 90s.
Yeah,
nice.
Except for my family.
Well, now everybody loves you and your family, right? There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you got us.
Awesome. And then, who are 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you who you are today?
Go ahead, Johnny.
I would say my dad, but aside from people I know, like just watching people, I would say like, filmmakers usually like who get told no, like Tarantino or George Lucas or even Spielberg, like just taking risks. Like he was a kid when he made Jaws. Like that's just taking those risks is just so important as an artist, no matter what you are. Like Basquiat is like one of my favorite painters because it's just people dismissed it. And then Madonna said like, hey, maybe you guys should take a second look. Like, oh, okay. And then everybody thought he was great. Like, and he is great. But people like Bowie taking risks. Like when you say I like David Bowie, that doesn't necessarily narrow down what kind of music you like. So like things like that are cool. Like just push. So yeah, I'd say like, people who push, what's his name? James, what's his name? Cameron, who did Titanic and all that stuff. Like all of his ex-wives are his producers. Like that's pretty cool. Like he like keeps involving his people. He's like, oh, you don't like me? That's okay. You're really good at what you do. And he moves people all along. Shit like that. People who like give a helping hand or kick their foot in the door. Charlie Chaplin, things like that. Like they're just stuff like that. Like real like outside the box thinkers who don't give a fuck if they get told they're stupid. The punk rock way.
Nice. What about you, James?
My parents were a massive part of my life. I mean, they're the reasons probably why I've never touched a drug in my life, and I didn't drink until I was in my 20s. And and it sounds so dumb, but like I was a huge Michael Jordan fan, and his mentality of just wanting to win and his like, I will not let anyone stop me. I feel that. I've always felt that. I've watched The Last Dance probably 10 times just because I love that vibe. I was not a Kobe Bryant fan. I didn't watch much of his career, but over the years of watching interviews with him, I probably would have loved him, to be honest with you. But I kind of fell out of basketball for a while. When I started playing guitar, I didn't play nothing but Metallica for the first 5 years. That's what got me into Puppet. Like they asked me to come jam. They took a smoke break. I don't smoke. I started playing Metallica solos, and they were like, "You're in." And I played a show 5 days later, at the old Peabody's in the Flats, like with Crypt Kicker as the headliner, if you remember those days,
Oh yeah.
I joined a band on a Tuesday, rehearsed Tuesday and Thursday, and played a show on Saturday.
Nice.
I lived on that stuff, and I do tend to watch. I watch how people react and what they say, and I'm one thing. I just wish sometimes some people would just kind of keep their thoughts to themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like I don't need to
Social
know.
media has exposed
I'm
a lot of
over
us.
it. I don't like to go that direction. You know, like I don't need to know what conversations you're having in your house. Like let's talk about your brand. Let's talk about your music. Let's talk about what's coming up.
Yeah,
You know, have your personal conversations with your personal friends and family. And that's been a big deal for me. You know, not to go down the rabbit hole, but you know, I even told Johnny recently, I'm like, I'm glad that I don't know where anybody in my band sits politically because it's none of my business and I don't care because I miss those days where my friends, I didn't know which way they went and we didn't talk about it, you know?
yeah.
No.
So I just
Well,
wish that
we talk about the classic 4 conspiracies, right? The aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts, Loch Ness monster. Boom. There's nothing else.
and Johnny
That's
upset
all
with me
we
that
talk
I won't
about.
watch and Johnny being upset with me that I won't watch a Star Wars movie.
No. Haven't watched the Star Wars. They didn't say
Oh
won't.
boy, yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. That's one resentment I got towards James. But like speaking of, I mean, the way you guys described how you described the relationship with the band, that's what I learned in the rooms, you know. It's like that's an outside issue. I'm not here for that. We're gonna talk about what we're here for, you know?
Yeah, and like, look, when bands get together and do things that result in change, that's awesome, and those bands should continue that, and that's their brand. It doesn't have to be everyone's, and it's okay if it's not, and that's just not really where we are. You know, it's exhausting to just kind of try even keep up. So I just learned that everything got easier when I loved everybody and loved myself, and that gets difficult with talking heads. So,
last night our conversation was
all.
about having a glow in the dark EDM colonoscopy. I mean, like that
That's
was
right. Oh, I should have brought that up here. That's right.
Nice.
Oh, damn. That would have been funny. A little prop. I'll bring props next call.
All right. And then another question I like to ask takes everybody back because we were talking about iPads and where things are at today, but what was your favorite toy as a child?
Oh, my Discman.
It's not a toy. It was a toy.
Oh, that was a toy to me.
No. What was the
I didn't
toy?
go anywhere without headphones and a CD in my pocket. I didn't go anywhere.
All right. Yeah, but before that, what was the thing before that?
I mean, I played sports a lot. I didn't play with I had
Before
Batman,
Picklett's Cage.
I had Batman. I had a lot
Cage.
of Batman toys. I had I mean, like the DC Power type shit, the 80s DC Power shit.
There you go.
All right.
Action figures.
Go. What about you, Johnny?
I'm talking to you literally surrounded by toys. Yeah, I'd love to pretend like I don't really know, but I guess it's Star Wars, man. Star Wars, and all those little action figures were just like my jam forever. And when I got older, I was able to go back and recollect what I lost over the years, and then connecting with like other people just who like restore them and stuff and build things that were never built in the 70s but look like the 70s. And so I've been kind of obsessed with like little miniatures and stuff, and like Christmas villages are always cool with me. I always thought those were cool, but then I thought Halloween villages were cool. So then I'm just like, I just like villages, like these little kind of I just want to live amongst like some kind of dioramas everywhere that I can just like, I open up and see like little worlds in there with like, Chewbacca or whatever. So I guess that's where I go.
I tricked my wife once, and because she knows I want to go to London, and I go, hey, I'm like, have you ever heard of the Hatfield House? She goes, no, why? I'm like, I think this would be I was like, this is a beautiful place for you to wear your nice dresses, and we could take some awesome pictures, but I will be wearing a Batman cowl. And she goes, what? And I go, we need to go. And she goes, why the Batman cowl? I'm like, because I'll finally be able to stand next to the fireplace from the 89 Batman, because that is the Wayne Manor in the movie. And she just looked at me and goes, God damn it, you suck, damn it. Like
that's awesome. I'll do it with you. I'll blow the wind up so the cape is flaring.
Nice. And then any message you guys have for our military members currently serving overseas?
Oh, thank you.
Thank
in
you
fact,
for everything.
that sacrifice is not unnoticed. I really want to do USO stuff. I really love what they do and entertain. So I when this band gets going, that's going to be something that we just privately do and for them, because that's to put your life on the line to do that. Even if you're a cop, or a nurse, or a teacher, like giving now really a teacher, but I meant just giving yourself service over to teaching and helping and stuff like that. But putting your life on the line, I have no idea what that feels like every day. And I just am so grateful and thankful for them.
Yeah, dude, those shows meant a lot. When I was over there, I'm actually, the first time I met Art from Everclear came and played our bass, and now me and him, talk or see each other pretty regularly, and it's just taking
John Schneider. There was Rob Schneider's brother is his manager. His name's John Schneider, and John is big into that, and he helps organize a lot of stuff with that. So I'll probably connect with them again. But that they're as crazy as Rob Schneider is. he did get me in a movie and got me my SAG card, so I'll always be grateful for that. But his brother is a really great businessman and does a lot of USO stuff. So I would imagine we'll be over there at some point.
Awesome. Well, guys, man, it was great having this conversation with you tonight. Look forward to the show April 18th to hear it all live. But before we get off here, for anybody that's listening that might be hearing about you guys for the first time and want to check you out, where would you send them?
The usual: Facebook, Twitter. We did make a TikTok. Talking to Myself is streaming on, I believe, basically every platform anyone could possibly listen to. Or at least I hope.
Yeah, YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram. So YouTube and Instagram is pretty much primarily where we're seeing a lot of attention. So that's where we would like to keep it.
Yeah, if you want to see Johnny lose his head, go to the YouTube.
There you go.
Nice. Well, guys, man, I appreciate the time. It was great catching up.
You
Absolutely.
too, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. We'll talk to you guys soon.
See you, bye.
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 All right! Listen up! Hold on to your seats. Grab your girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so Warren Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.